Hi guys, this is Allison from Allykatkreations. How are you? Please like, share, and subscribe to my channel if you have yet to do so. Helps me get the word out. And if you get anything from my work, a connected dot, an epiphany, a mind-blown moment, new books to read, new authors to explore, artwork, oracle cards, all that fun stuff is in the description. Scroll down, see where I am, check me out. If you want pyramids or hearts or keychains or anything that's artistic, check out my website, Allykatkreations211.com. All my drawings, paintings, and work that I'm doing is there to view. And if you would like to purchase anything, you can go to my email, which is in the description, and tell me what you like, and I'll see if it's available. The Hermit's Journey. I told you I was going to this. We're not done with him yet. We're not. Doing the spiritual soul advice that I did the other day, talking and walking through, we've been walking through this journey together. So you're not alone, but you are in physicality. We all have our individual missions. We sit with Source, and then we have people that are going to interact with us, but we never know when they're going to drop in because that veil has dropped in front of us. We are sitting and waiting. We're working on ourselves. We're doing the conscious effort work. We're learning how to navigate speaking, seating, and getting back into reality and to talking amongst people. And that's not easy. When you've been in your little hermitum, your zone, and I coming across a lot of people, and a lot of women particularly, who are on the older side. I have a bunch of these people. I'm going to see what I can do. So if you're listening to me, we're going to figure this out, ladies. Men, you're included as well, but I'm finding more of the women are drawn to me and my work. But there's a lot of like-minded individuals who tell me, I hope you don't think I'm crazy. That's one of the first things that comes out of people's mouths. Everybody thinks I'm nuts. You're not nuts. I just want to drop that. You're not crazy. You're not. I'm sorry, but you're not. You're just not around the people that are going to perceive what your reality is to be similar to theirs. There are people just like you, I promise. Okay, because I was in the same boat and I was a child. Just no one believed anything I saw, and my parents thought I was crazy too, until they started experiencing it for themselves. Okay, so take that into account. Gosh, it's cold down here. And my chair is broken, so I do apologize. So it's not easy when you get experiences and you are getting all this knowledge that you want to share. You don't know what to do with it. If you are first listening to this, go back to the very first Hermit's Journey. I read the cave, Plato's cave. It is an important thing right there to go back and put yourself in that cave and go on that discovery journey. Everything I have read is discovering thyself. knowing that you're literally, energetically, you're not alone. You're never going to be alone. You're a tether to so many things in this universe. You're just, again, we're in vehicles that are inhibiting us from seeing these energies and things. When we are walking through this reality, this big illusion, we got to be mindful of how we're projecting, how we are spewing. And Nietzsche gives really good examples. So does Manly P. Hall. I've read the other book. Unfortunately, it's short. But the short stories in these books are helping us discover the journey, the self-discovery, the interactions with different types of people, characters, people that we probably wouldn't talk to, right? But yet here we are. Once again, many of us are way showers, and we are very unique. We're individualistic, and we're going to challenge a lot of people. I know in my everyday walking life, I challenge a lot of people because they can't get past the outward expression that I bring to the table. This in particular, yes, I don't dye my hair. This is originally gray. This grows right out of my head. I challenge people. I've shown my weapons. I have my my carry gun on my desk. I am the warrior in the garden. I am a very big lesson and a challenge, and so much from source itself. We have to stop looking at the outside worldly appearances of people, because you're not looking at the content of their soul, not of their character. I'm going to be keeping it to the history of this month. That should be every month. This journey is very individualistic. It's very special. It's yours. You have to write a better ending to your story, because in your head, a lot of people are narrating it to be negative. I keep bringing up in my spiritual soul advices, life is happening for you. Things are unfolding for you. Nietzsche takes you on, and so does Manly P. Hall. And once again, before I even finish that thought, a lot of people can't tolerate them as human beings because of associations and what they have said. If you drop the names and just read the stories without knowing who wrote it, your bias would go out the window. Just because this, this one's affiliated with this, or they said that, it makes him evil. No, it's a perception. In these stories, add yourself in there, jump into the character. You need to have a very broad imagination. Otherwise, you wouldn't be a hermit. Not everybody is able to be alone. Not everybody is able to love thyself and understand the complexities of this world. I know a lot of friends who are afraid to be alone. I know a lot of people who can't stand a minute of their day if they're by themselves. That's not healthy either. You have to have a happy balance. So these stories are taking us through this balance of being in your aloneness. You're at one with yourself, understanding who you are, what power you have within, and how you could take that wisdom and impart those seeds to other people. And that's really the focus of this journey that I'm taking you on. As much as I have a person in my life, that doesn't mean that person's always going to stay. I've been alone for a long time in my own self because no one understood me. I was in my own imaginary world, in my own imagination, most of the time in most of my life. Because a lot of people can't see the things that I can. And there are more of us now having beautiful, extraordinary experiences, never were able to open it up to other people before. So I'm going to figure out a platform or a group somewhere or something on Zoom. If you're interested in this, please write in the comments, because I'm not alone. I'm not the proprietor of being the hermit, right? But there's a lot of people I'm coming across that keep saying, Allison, am I nuts? And you're not. And there's a lot more people than you think that are experiencing similar things to you. Just people are afraid of other people's perceptions of them. See where the difference is? I don't fucking give a shit. I've never cared. I just never spoke it. But I didn't care what people think of me. That's why I dress the way I do and why I go about my life the way I do. I don't care. I'm happy. It's the end goal right there. Are you happy? And if you're not, you got to find out what will make you happy. And that takes a lot of inner work. So please, if you're interested in joining a community I can create to help everybody come together, whether it be Zoom meetings once a month, I do it for WeNotMe. I do the Zoom. I make the show. All the guys have to do is press a button. I could do that for people. I don't even need to be there. But it would be a nice place to get people to come once a month and talk, vent, get it out, have banter back and forth, brainstorm together. It's not easy because you're listening to all these other people on podcasts and all these, and it's like, well, I have something to say, but I don't know where to say it. Well, if we're interested in that, I could totally do something like that. So you all need to let me know. And yeah. Thus spoke Zarathustra, the ugliest man. And again Zarathustra's feet ran over mountains and through woods, and his eyes kept seeking. But he whom they wanted to see was nowhere to be seen. The great distress one who had cried out. All along the way, however, Zarathustra jubilated in his heart and was grateful. What good things, he said, has this day given me to make up for its bad beginning? What strange people have I found to talk with? Now I shall long chew their words like good grains. My teeth shall grind them and crush them small till they flow like milk into my soul. But when the path turned around a rock again, the scenery changed all at once, and Zarathustra entered a realm of death. Black and red cliffs rose rigidly. No grass, no tree, no bird's voice. For it was a valley that all animals avoided, even the beasts of prey. Only species of ugly, fat green snakes came here to die when they grew old. Therefore, the shepherds called this valley Snake's Death. Zarathustra, however, sank into a black reminiscence, for he felt as if he had stood in this valley once before. and much that was grave weighted on his mind. He walked slowly and still more slowly, and finally stood still. But when he opened his eyes, he saw something sitting by the way, shaped like a human being. Yet scarcely like a human being, something inexpressible. And all at once, a profound sense of shame overcame Zarathustra for having laid eyes on such a thing. Blushing right up to his white hair, he averted his eye with a stuck page and raised his feet to leave this dreadful place. But at that moment, the dead wasteland was filled with a noise, for something welled up from the ground, gurgling and rattling, as water gurgles and rattles by night in clogged water pipes. And at last it became a human voice and a human speech, thus: Zarathustra, Zarathustra, guess my riddle. Speak, speak! What is the revenge against the witness? I lure you back. Here is slippery ice. Take care that your pride does not break its legs here. You think yourself wise, proud Zarathustra. Then guess the riddle, you cracker of hard nuts. The riddle that I am. Speak then, who am I? But when Zarathustra had heard these words, what do you suppose happened to his soul? Pity seized him, and he sank down all at once like an oak tree that has long resisted many woodcutters heavily, suddenly, terrifyingly, even those who had wanted to feel it. But immediately he rose from the ground again, and his face became hard. I recognize you well, he said in a voice of bronze. You are the murderer of God. Let me go. You could not bear him. Who saw you? Who always saw you through and through, you ugliest man. You took revenge on this witness. Thus spoke Zarathustra. And he wanted to leave, but the inexpressible one seized a corner of his garment and began again to gurgle and seek for words. Stay, he said finally, stay. Do not pass by. I have guessed what axe struck you to the ground. Hail to you, O Zarathustra, that you stand again. You have guessed, I know it well. How? He who killed him feels, the murderer of God. Stay. Sit down here with me. It is not for nothing. Whom did I want to reach, if not you? Stay, sit down. But do not look at me. In the way, honor my ugliness. They persecute me. Now you at last refuge. Not with their hatred, not with their catchpoles. I would mock such persecution and be proud and glad of it. Has not all success hereto been with the well persecuted? And whoever persecutes well learns readily how to follow, for he is used to going after somebody else. But it is their pity. It is their pity that I flee. Fleeing to you, O Zarathustra, protect me. You, my last refuge, the only one who has solved my riddle. You guessed how he who killed him feels. Stay. And if you would go, you impatient one, do not go the way I came. That way is bad. Are you angry with me that I have even now stammered too long and even advise you? But no, it is I, the ugliest man, who also has the largest and heaviest feet. Where I have gone, the way is bad. I tread all ways till they are dead and ruined. But that you passed me by silent, that you blushed, I saw it well. That is how I recognize you as Zarathustra. Everyone else would have thrown his alms to me, his pity, with his eyes and words. For that I am not beggar enough, as you guessed, but that I am too rich, rich in what is great, in what is terrible, in what is the ugliest, in what is most inexpressible. Your shame, Zarathustra, honored me. With difficulty, I escaped the throng of the pitying to find the only one today who teaches. Pity is obtrusive. You, O Zarathustra, whether it be of God's pity or man's pity, offends the sense of shame. And to be unwilling to help can be nobler than that virtue which jumps to help. But today that is called virtue itself amongst all the little people, pity. They have no respect for great misfortune, for great ugliness, for great failure. Over this multitude, I look away as a dog looks away over the backs of teeming flocks of sheep. They are a little gray. People, full of good wool and goodwill. As a heron looks away contemptuously over shallow ponds, its head leaning back, thus I took away over the teeming mass of gray little waves and wills of souls. Too long have we concealed and conceded to them that they are right, these little people, so that in the end we have also conceded them not might. Now they teach good is only what little people call good. And today truth is what the preacher said, who himself came from among them, that queer saint and advocate of the little people, who bore witness about himself. I am the truth. This immodest fellow has long given the little people swelled heads. He who taught no small error when he taught, I am the truth. Has an immodest fellow ever been answered more politely? You, however, O Zarathustra, passed him by and said, no, no, 3 times no. You warned against his error. You, as the first, warned against pity. Not all, not none, but you and your kind. You are ashamed of the shame of the great sufferer. And verily, when you say, from pity a great cloud approaches, beware, O men. When you teach, all creators are hard, all great love is over, and above its pity, O Zarathustra. How well you seem to me to understand storm signs, but you warn yourself also against your pity. For many are on their way to you, many who are suffering, doubting, despairing, drowning, freezing, and also warn you against myself. You guess my best, my worst riddle, myself, and what I did. I know the acts that fails you. But he had to die. He saw with his eyes that saw everything. He saw man's depths and ultimate grounds, all his concealed disgrace and ugliness. His pity knew no shame. He crawled into my dirtiest nooks. This most curious, over obtrusive, over pitying one had to die. He always saw me. On such a witness, I wanted to have revenge on not my life, myself. The God who saw everything, even man, this God had to die. Man cannot bear it that such a witness should live. Thus spoke the ugliest man, but Zarathustra rose and was about to leave, for he felt frozen down to his very entrails. Your inexpressible one, he said, you have warned me against your way. In thanks, I shall praise mine to you. Behold, up there lies Zarathustra's cave. My cave is large and deep and has many nooks. Even the most hidden can find a hiding place there. And close by there are 100 dens and lodges for crawling, fluttering, and jumping beasts. You self-exile, would you not live among men and men's pity? Well then, do as I do. Thus you also learn from me, only the doer learns. And speak first of all to my animals, the proudest animal and the wisest animal. They should be the right counselors for the two of us. Thus spoke Zarathustra, and he went his way, still more reflectively and slowly than before, for he asked himself much, and he did not know how to answer himself readily. How poor men is after all, he thought in his heart. How ugly, how wheezing, how full of hidden shame. I have been told that man loves himself. Ah, how great must this self-love be? How much contempt stands against him? This fellow too loved himself, even as he despised himself. A great lover he seems to me, and a great despiser. None have I found yet who despised himself more deeply than, too, is a kind of height. Alas, was he perhaps the higher man whose cry I heard? I love the great despisers. Man, however, is something that must be overcome. That's heavy. That is very heavy. So, what do you think the ugliest man is? Tell me. I'm curious to know what you think of that. I'm skipping a part. It's about a beggar. But this gets even deeper. The shadow. But as soon as the voluntary beggar had gone and ran away, and Zarathustra was alone again, he heard a new voice behind him shouting, "Stop, Zarathustra! Wait! It is I, O Zarathustra, I, your shadow." But Zarathustra did not wait for a sudden annoyance come over him at the very and the many intruders and obtruders in his mountain. "Where has my solitude gone?" he said. "Verily, it is becoming too much for me. This mountain range is teeming. My kingdom is no longer of this world. I need new mountains. My shadow calls me. What does my shadow matter? Let him run after me. I shall run away from him." Thus spoke Zarathustra to his heart, and he ran away. But he who was behind him followed him, so that soon there were three runners, one behind the other, first the voluntary beggar, then Zarathustra, and the third and last the shadow. It was not long that they ran this way before Zarathustra realized his folly with a single shrug, shook off all the discontent and disgust. "Well," he said, "have not the most ridiculous things always happen among us old hermits and saints? Verily, my folly has grown tall in the mountains. Now I hear six old fools, legs clattering along in a row. But may Zarathustra be afraid of a shadow? Moreover, it seems to me that he has longer legs than I." Thus spoke Zarathustra, laughing with his eyes and entrails. He stopped quickly and turned around, and behold, he almost threw his follower in shadow to the ground. So close was the shadow by him, and so weak too. And when Zarathustra examined him with his eyes, he was startled as by a sudden ghost. So thin, swarthy, hollow, and outlived did the follower look. "Who are you?" Zarathustra asked violently. "What are you doing here? And why do you call yourself my shadow? I do not like you." "Forgive me," answered the shadow, "that it is I. And if you do not like me, well then, O Zarathustra, for that I praise you and your good taste. I am a wanderer who has always walked a great deal at your heels, always on my way, but without any goal, also without any home, so that I really lack little toward being the eternal Jew. Unless it may be that I am not eternal and not a Jew. How must I always be on my way, whirled by every wind, restless driven on, O earth that hast become too round for me? I have already sat on every surface like weary dust. I have gone to sleep on mirrors and window panes. Everything takes away from me, nothing gives. I become thin. I am almost like a shadow. But after you, O Zarathustra, I flew and blew the longest. Even when I hid from you, I was still your best shadow. Wherever you sat, I sat too. With you, I haunt the remotest, coldest worlds like a ghost that runs voluntarily over wintry roofs and snow. With you, I strove to penetrate everything that is forbidden, worst, remotest, and if there is anything in me that is virtue, it is that I have no fear of any forbiddance. With you, I broke whatever my heart revered. I overthrew all boundary stones and images. I pursued the most dangerous wishes verily over every crime I have passed once. With you, I unlearned faith in words and values and great names. When the devil sheds his skin, does not his name fall off too? For that too is skin. The devil himself is perhaps skin. Nothing is true, all is permitted. Thus I spoke to myself. Into the coldest waters I plunge, with head and heart. Alas, how often have I stood there afterward naked as a red crab? Alas, where has all that is good gone from me, and all shame and all faith in those who are good? Alas, where is that mendacious innocence that I once possessed, an innocence of the good and their noble lies? Too often, verily, did I follow close on the heels of truth. So she kicked me in the face. Sometimes I thought I was lying, and behold, only then did I hit the truth. Too much has been clear to me. Now it no longer concerns me. Nothing is alive anymore that I love. How should I still love myself? To live as it pleases me, or not to live at all, that is what I want. That is what the saintliest want too. But also, how could anything please me anymore? Do I give a goal anymore? A haven toward which my sail is set? A good wind? Alas, only he who knows where he is sailing also knows which wind is good and the right wind for him. What is left to me now? A heart weary and imprudent, a restless will, flutter wings, a broken backbone. Trying thus to find my home, O Zarathustra, do you know it? Trying this was my trial. It consumes me. Where is my home? I asked and searched. I have searched for it, but I have not found it. O eternal everywhere, O eternal nowhere, O eternal in vain. Thus spoke the shadow, and Zarathustra's face grew long as he listened. You are my shadow, he finally said sadly. Your danger is no small one, you free spirit and wanderer. You have had a bad day. See to it that you do not have a still worse evening. To those who are as restless as you, even a jail will at least seem bliss. Have you ever seen how imprisoned criminals sleep? They sleep calmly, enjoying their new security. Beware lest a narrow faith imprison you in the end, some harsh and severe illusion. For whatever is narrow and solid seduces and tempts you now. You have lost your goal, alas, how will you digest and jest over this loss? With this you have also lost your way, you poor roaming enthusiast, you wary butterfly. Would you have a rest and home this evening? Then go up to my cave, up there goes the path to my cave. And now let me quickly run away from you again, even now a shadow seems to lie over me. I want to run alone so that it may become bright around me again, for that I shall still have to stay merely on my legs a long time. In the evening, however, there will be dancing in my cave. Thus spoke Zarathustra. This is the important part of why I read the two passages I did. In our journey, your home is this vehicle. Your home is Earth. You searching outside of yourself for answers is going inside and searching for yourself. Understanding your shadow. I always say I'm the devil in someone's story. We've all done things that we're not proud of. We've all walked in paths that were a little questionable, not moral, made choices that weren't the best and brightest. Are you running from your shadow? That's the bigger question. Everything is an experience that you need to learn from. So any path that you have walked, whether it be the indifferent, the bad, the good, is all a lesson. It's a challenge. It's something that you needed for your story. Everything. So why are you running from your shadow? You got to play with your shadow. You got to heal your shadow. You have to see the other side of yourself. You need to see that other dualistic polarity that we all try to ignore, but is always so in our lives. You have to make friends with it. You know, there's a saying that you should feed the wolf, the one wolf, the good wolf. I say feed both of them. You need to pacify both. You're both. You're a positive and negative formed being. You have poles that are positive and negative. You are a battery. In order to complete the circuit, you need both ends, a positive and a negative end. So you need to balance your shadow with your light. Home is nowhere outside of you. The universe is within you. Your fractals are all a part of you. Your experiences and all of it you wrote. So embrace it. Heal it. It's hard to seed and hard to show and hard to give the truth to other people that are coming from someone who is not healed, who is allowing the shadow to rule the roost, the negative self-talk, the doubt, the shame, the pity. You have to be balanced in both. I like to be the warrior in the garden. Try to take those two examples. Who is he really facing? What is that ugliest man? What is that a metaphor? What's the allegory behind it? What is that ugliest man? We've all, and I know there's people that really are sunshine and butterflies and rainbows and sparkle farts. I know there are people with that, just that's their disposition, but I bet you that they in their internally are screaming and going crazy sometimes. We're not perfected yet. You got to be realistic with who you are and embrace both sides of yourself. You have a positive and a negative side. You should feed both because you're pacifying the negative side of yourself and saying, well, if I don't get out and vent and ground and get things out of me that are not good for me to be thinking, feeling, expressing, this is just going to build up like a volcano within you, and one day you're going to explode. So better that you pacify and you feed this negative side of yourself, not in a way that you're promoting negativity. You're pacifying it, but you're understanding what needs to get done so that you're not expressing this negative, but you're feeding that portion of yourself by healing it, by letting things go, by understanding why you made some of those choices that you did, why you're projecting. There's a lot of angry people out there, by the way, a lot. People who need to prove themselves or have the last word, because what do you mean by that statement? Give me clarity, because whoa, hold your roll, honey. You're angry. Why? Because you feel like somebody's taking your voice away from you. Or are you not handling your shadow and healing it and feeding it positivity? Are you grounding? Are you going and figuring yourself out? When you know your shadow and you become friends, best friends with your shadow, you tend to lead a more balanced life. You know what you're not doing over here. You know you're not going to go and repeat those things. You know when you start getting angry at something, you have to transmute it for over here. But you always have to come to a middle ground and understanding why. Those two passages are bringing those things out for you to look into. If you want to be on this journey and you're trying to seed people and you're trying to convey the truth to people, how are you doing that in a balanced manner? Too many times I get so many people who cannot shed the concept that you wrote your story and they wrote theirs. And you got to respect that portion of source that is experiencing the sleepiness. Oh, but they did this and that, but they did that, and they're doing this. And I'm like, they're not awake and everything is poison and everything is evil. Well, if you want to think that everything you consume is poison, then you are putting that low vibratory state in your body. Sorry, that's the truth. If you're blessing your food and giving it thanksgiving and thanking source for the substance that you're putting in your body, that vibratory state of that food and what you're putting in, it's energy. So you're feeding yourself better energy. When you're not imposing your will on other people, but you're putting the frequency out for a shift that will happen for some, that is your role. And how do you bring yourself into balance and understanding those things? Are you the ugliest man? Are you looking in the mirror and seeing your true self? Are you loving all the aspects of yourself? Not just a little warm and fuzzy little cutie pie that you are. Are you loving the other aspects of yourself that you know that are lying dormant in you? You got to love yourself fully in all capacities. You got to know thyself in the totality of what you are. You can find fault in things. How do you fix those things? In order to go on this journey, in order to seat other people, in order to make others aware and awaken, you have to be so in your authenticity. You have to accept all the aspects of yourself. And it's only when you do that you can walk amongst the others and understand their experiences and how some are not going to get you and they're just going to laugh at you. And you just passively go, whatever, have fun with that reality that you chose. I'm going to live mine over here. I'm going to be happy. What are you choosing? But this journey is taking you on a self-discovery. And are you discovering your shadow? Are you looking at your ugly side of yourself? We all have it. We all did things we're not proud of. We all had experiences and said things to people that we're not proud of. It's healing that in those instances. It's being realistic. We all get angry. We all get frustrated. There are things in this world you cannot control that are outside of your control. The initiate walks through the stages of enlightenment, going through tests and challenges and trials and tribulations, all for the mastery of transmutation of alchemy within. That doesn't mean that that emotion will not come into the purview of a person. It's how someone reacts to these things and how they instantaneously flip the switch, understand what is being thrown at them, and transmute it. It doesn't mean they're not feeling it or not experiencing it. It's what they do in their reactions. It's what they do in their mindset to change the response. That's mastery. But in order to know mastery, you need to know your weaknesses. You need to know your shadow self. This is where a lot of the doubt, a lot of the shame, a lot of putting away those feelings because, oh, everybody thinks I'm crazy. I'm not going to be myself anymore. I'm going to put a mask on. I'm going to be someone else because people are just not going to listen to me. When you have no shame and you walk out in your authentic self and you stick that little middle finger up right there, loud and proud, and you're going into your authentic self and doing you, finding the neutral ground within yourself. And that's a process. I haven't perfected it yet, but I'm close to understanding both sides and aspects of myself and where I need to play either role in my everyday life. If someone treats me like a pile of dog poo, they're not going to get my happy self. They're going to get my, oh, you did not just go there, did you? I'm going to be the warrior in the garden. I am all about peace. I'm not about war. But I put my wall up and I don't take people's shit. I put my boundaries up so I am not absorbing other people's shit. Why are you worried about everybody else's experience? You should be worried about yours and yours alone. Why are you worried about everybody not being awake around you? You are the lighthouse, the sole lighthouse in your community, beaming that light in that frequency. Stop being concerned about everybody else's awakening. Be concerned about your own. Focus on you. I think a lot of people want so badly to connect with others, but I hear it all the time, and it's not a judgment on the people that I talk to, because I talk to a lot of people. But I'm seeing this in the collective, period, end of story. It's not to say it's a bad thing. We're all working on this. Stop judging other people. Stop looking and focusing on other people. Focus on yourself. Until you're healed, until you did enough work to know yourself in a fuller capacity, your journey is still in a hermit zone. You're still the beacon of light, and people are going to come to you. Are you balanced in understanding when people come to you, you don't know what they're going to throw at you? A lot of these people are the very people that you judge and criticize and badmouth. These are the people that need your help the most. So let's flip the script. Work on your shadow, work on yourself. These people are going to come. You're going to walk amongst them one day and someone's going to have some epiphany question because your frequency matched through theirs. You'll walk through someone else's toy rotor field and you awoke in them. Now someone has a question for you. How are you going to answer them? Are you going to be the ugliest man? Or are you going to be the lightest person you can? Do you know what the ugliest portion of you is? Do you know what's deep inside you and what you're capable of? If you don't, I really highly suggest you do that work. I know what I'm capable of, and I know it's not a pretty sight. I can withstand a lot of gore and a lot of disgusting things. I've seen a lot of disgusting things in my life. I'm very desensitized, unfortunately. In a good way and a bad way. We all need to know where our deepest, darkest, ugliest self lies so that you know what you need to obtain on the light. You need that balance. We are in duality. This is the way of our reality. So while we are here experiencing it and learning from it, take the opportunity to go in your heart space and see all aspects of yourself. Those are just two examples in this book that is showing you the ugly. How are you going to confront yourself, your shadow? I'm the devil in other people's stories. I know my grandmother sees me as the devil because I have abilities. I'm able to see and hear and experience things that no, a lot of people can't. But that doesn't make me a schizzy. That doesn't make me crazy because I'm not alone in those abilities. Plenty of people have it's situationals that they talk to me about all the time. They tell me the beings that come to them. They say the vivid dreams that they experience, the visions, the premonitions of prophesying. I get it all the time. A lot of people don't know where to reach. Take this journey of the hermit and do your inner work. Work on yourself before you go out and see people, because I'm going to tell you right now, what I have been noticing is the people who are doing the inner work are taking time off and they're doing the work for themselves and they're focusing inwardly. I see people not in chat all the time anymore. I see people dropping. It's great. That makes me happy. Because I know when they come back and they do, they write comments, right? Their words are so more, how do I even put this into words? The words, the expression, the projection, the intentional energy I feel off of those comments have changed. the diction, the projection, all change. And I know when I feel and see that that person is really doing the work for themselves because they want to succeed. They want to be balanced. They want to go and help other people. But you can't help other people unless you are understanding your pitfalls and your greatness. You need to see both sides. Can't just focus on the one. You need to know all aspects of yourself. And those are prime examples of the shadow that a lot of people don't want to tackle. It's painful, it's suffering, it's a lot of things, but it needs to be done. We're at a crucial point. I keep saying this, and it's going to get even more intense. No one is going to save you but you. No one can do the work for you. You have to do it yourself. And of course, there are people like myself, and there's plenty of other people that are giving you ideas, hints, tips, meditations, places to go to help you work on yourself. But I can't step in and do the work for you. That's something you need to will it into your focus to do. The journey is long. Our missions are solo. We come here collectively to help each other out. But your ascension is yours and yours alone. You come with other people, and we're all set to help each other, but and eventually we'll have unity consciousness. We're going to get there, but you're still individual. You still have your own missions. You still have your own story to write. When you go to the Akashic Records, are you reading for just yourself, or are you reading for everybody else? Your husband, your kids, your wife, your whatever. You're reading only and seeing only for yourself. Your journey is yours and yours alone. Detach. Stop judging other people's choices. You make your own choices. They might not be the best choices. So do you want someone to judge you? You know how many people, and this is something that took me a very, very long time to heal, is when people were bullying me physically and verbally about the way I look. It still goes on to this day. Maybe 2 years ago, I was called demon. Because again, oh, but the Bible is bad. Oh, but I'm still going to reference the Bible. Okay, so how programmed are you? Do you not see it? You still have a lot of work to go, honey bunny. There's a lot of people out there that tell you that they're healed and tell you that they're all enlightened and they're all, they're awake, but you're still judging. You're still projecting hate. You're still not seeing a big picture. Are you really the light? Or are you just thinking you're awake because you have knowledge that you obtain from other people instead of going inside and knowing it for yourself? I always say everybody's paradigm is different. Mine's different from a lot of other people's. I have other people that are a part of my paradigm and other people that aren't, but we're still on team light. Your perception, my perception are all different about how the world and reality works. That's the beauty of this world. We want to focus on team light, but we need to understand the part of ourselves that are in the dark, that are the shadow aspects, that aren't making the best and greatest choices, because those are the experiences we need. We need the dualistic component to learn from. And once you understand those concepts, once you do the healing, once you know how to use your shadow to your advantage, right? Like I said, I have my carry arm on my table. I have machetes and I have cutlery around my house because I got to protect this vehicle. I got to protect myself. And will I ever try to take someone's life? No. but I know how to defend myself. And those things for a lot of people are ugly. But you know what is ugly? When people are really out there to take your life for no damn reason or over a materialistic object. They don't know their light side. They need to balance and they need to understand their light side and their darkness. Why are they in the darkness? They won't know because they don't do self-analysis. They don't look at themselves. They don't love themselves. They lack so many states of understanding. They're living in their primitive animal self, survival. And they're predators. And they look at us as prey. We got to be the ones defending ourselves. We have to be the warrior in the garden, prepared. When you are prepared, you have the skill, you know how you're going to be able to win that fight. There is a war going on upstairs that's melding down into this level of playing field. And it's up to us to learn how to battle and to fight and maneuver and outwit and be strong and to create the peace that we all want. But in order for that peace to happen, there's a lot of work that everybody, including myself, needs to do in order to create the harmonious vibratory state that's emanating out of you. You need to confront the bad aspects of yourself or the things that you consider not the greatest of you. Your reactions, how have you treated people? It's a process. When you have compassion and love for yourself, you understand that, yeah, back then you didn't know. Okay, I'm going to forgive myself and release that moment that I faltered or I made a mistake or a boo-boo. You're going to send it love and you're going to move on, but you're going to take that experience and that understanding and knowledge. So if it repeats again, you catch it. You transmute it. You change your reactions. Those two stories are very vital. It's the reason why when I was doing the other episode yesterday, I made a mention that it is all about the hermit's journey. Because you're individually here, you chose your family and you chose your surroundings, you chose a lot of the things that you're in right now. But human experience is meant to teach you how to work in unity with other people. Because eventually that's where we're headed, in unity consciousness. So this school is teaching us how to work amongst other people, but still be an individual and still have your unique frequency. It's difficult. But I know that many of you are striving to have that peace, that neutrality, that are doing the work to healing yourself and understanding the other component to yourself. I'm very well equipped with my shadow, and that shadow can pop out, and that's my alter ego, and that is hilarious. See you next Tuesday, BITCH. She's great. I love when that part of me comes out sometimes. This is necessary. She comes out when it's necessary, just like the warrior in the garden is prepared at all times. I know how to use my shadow to my betterment, not my detriment. I use her when things are getting a little heated. I know how to use her in a constructive, productive, light way. We need to understand our other selves. We need to understand the shadow aspect of what we are and what we're made up of. And we all have one. So you got to find that within you, to find it, understand it, learn from it, and use it to your advantage in a light type of way. We're almost at the close of this book. And I'm going to leave it there with those two passages. So it's a lot to digest in understanding the ugliest man and the shadow. And what I read, go way back. If you have to listen to it again, read it for yourselves. These are tools. Nietzsche wasn't an idiot. He was a very profound philosopher for his time. A little diluted in his thinking processes on certain topics and things, but that was his indoctrination and programming for the time. All the philosophers were indoctrinated and brought up in certain ways and modes, but they expanded their consciousness, they expanded their thinking, they were willing to put their biases down to understanding a larger portion of the collective. He's one of them. He understood the concept of God. He knew what God was. The God is dead thing. Which God? And that's not the whole quote either. What died? Did the ego die? We're going through that now. Our personalities are always going to be there. Our characteristics, our traits, our quirkiness, our uniqueness is never going away. That's the frequency signature of the fractal of this portion of your soul. Whatever you are, you're unique. Should be only one of you in vehicle form running around this plane of existence. You have other selves, plenty of them, but they're in different vehicles. In order to tackle those things and that concept, you got to tackle yourself first and understand yourself fully, full picture, both dualities, both polarities. Understanding the masculine components of you, the feminine components of you, putting everything in neutrality and looking at where your balance needs to be and how to bring more balance into your life. Not easy work. And there's no right or wrong answer to that either. But in order for us to move forward, we need to stop the hate. We need to stop feeding that side. I'm never, ever going to stop saying it until it freaking happens. We have to stop that reality creating. We got to deal with the junk that we've accumulated in our lives. We put it there to deal with it and sift through it and learn from it. What are you waiting for? Let's make friends with the ugliest man and the shadow of ourselves. Let's not live in those emotional states. Let's heal it, let it go and release, but understand those components of you. With that, as you walk out of the cave and reflect, and then finally see the true light, and finally start seeing the different frequencies of truth and the interpretations growing and the truth shifting, and you're going to see yourself evolving, maturing, and growing into a spiral, ascending up consciously, understanding a bigger picture. When you stop judging other people for the experience sources having through them and give them compassion and grace, but you're not, here's a warrior, see you next Tuesday, and you're not taking their shit either. You're putting up your barriers. You're saying the no. I don't want that. No. Stand in your conviction, stand in your authenticity, because this is where we're leading to. We can't heal. We can't be lighthouses if we're not putting the full seed into the ground and letting it mature and grow. Can't force something to grow, and it's gonna grow in its own timing. If you nourish it and take care of it, it's going to be a strong, whatever it is you planted, that seed that you planted. It takes time and it grows out in the darkness. So really think about a plant, connect with nature, understand the process of how a plant comes out of the ground and how a seed unfolds. Do the work. Stop doubting yourself. Stop doubting the experiences that you have. They're real. Some of those things are very scary and very life altering, and I understand that. But use those things as you wrote those catalysts, you asked those things to do whatever they did to you. They did it for you. All these things that you're seeing that are out of this world, they are very much a part of this world. They're just on a higher level of frequency from you. I know it's hard that we ask to suffer and to experience pain. This is how we have the ultimate maximum soul growth, is through this pain and through the suffering. And does get better. This is coming from someone that's tried to take my life several times. This is someone who used to write in all the books above me. The black void, the abyss. I'm going to jump into the abyss. I'm done. I'm numb. I don't want to live anymore. I'm done. Don't send me back where I came from. I'm done. In the black void, in the abyss. That's all I used to write. My poetry was morbid. I was a sick, twisted little girl. But in there was something that was beautifully unfolding. The light was trying to beam out of me. And for whatever the reasons are, I needed those deep, dark experiences and wanting to not live to understand how precious life is. I needed to see and experience very not okay things to have a better awareness of what the world really is. And I'm just talking from my personal experience, and I know I'm not alone. I am not alone. I talk to a lot of people, and they have very similar emotional states, different circumstances. No one is going to have identical. You're not alone. And you're not nuts. So absorb what I read. Understand where that's coming from. What's the allegory? What's the meaning behind the ugliest man? What are you taking out of the shadow? And what are you doing for yourself is the most important thing. It's a journey. You're not alone. You feel alone. You're the hermit. You have the wisdom. Now, how are you walking through your life to heal it? So that you can be a better seeder, way shower, wanderer. I know many of you can do it. Seed, grow, nourish, and soon you will be creating the shadow where some little animal's going to sit under. And thank you. Remember, embrace both sides. Understand both sides and what their purposes are. And that will end today's Hermit's Journey. Very important read. A lot of healing needs to get done. I'm sending each and every one of you love, light, compassion, grace, shielding, and protection energy. I hope all of you have a great beginning of your week. Ground. Love yourself. Know thyself. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I know my truths are not ready to really be out in the public just yet. I'm gaining subscribers because of Little Thor, because I like to put a cute little black kitty cat in front of a million people in hopes that I bring joy, that something that brings me joy, I hope is bringing you joy. So go check those shorts out. He's adorable. He comes by almost every day. Not sometimes, some days he doesn't. But my content is not for everybody's ears. Because not everybody's ready to hear the truth of the things they need to face in their own selves. It's rough. It's not easy. But I'm really praying and hoping that the messages do get out, and it doesn't need to be only by me. We got to do it together. So if you're interested in something to meet up, other people to reach out to, I can help you guys do that. I won't not be able to do it all the time. I will not be able to be on a Zoom. I have a lot of people looking for readings. I need to get that done. I'm trying. I'm one person. I don't have a personal assistant. And my days are crazy. But I would love to help other people come together. So if you're interested in that idea, email me. We can talk about it. We can put something together so that there are more people out there than you think, that you're not nuts, and that are having experiences and just need a place to vent and find people that are not going to think they're crazy. So if you feel like you fall in any of those parameters, please reach out to me. We'll work on something together, and we'll get a bunch of people to come together and try to build a community of like-minded souls who need a vent or somebody to tell them that they're not nuts. So please let me know. I hope all of you have a great week. Please be safe, be seen, and I hope to see you guys on the next one. Bye, guys.